The war room aboard HSS Dauntless was silent, its walls lined with obsolete tactical maps, all of them marked with black crosses, lost colonies. Captain Riker Vance stood alone before the central display, arms folded, jaw set. Earth's last great ship hung in low orbit over Jupiter's shadow, invisible to enemy eyes. Below, the gas giant churned silently, indifferent to extinction. "Your orders are clear." Admiral Soren's voice crackled through the holofeed. Her face was pale and drawn, the weight of Earth's survival stitched into the lines around her eyes. "We've confirmed Karvalek is on Xerxes 3. He's preparing to awaken 4 new brood queens. If they mature, we lose the galaxy." Riker didn't flinch. "Understood. We strike hard, fast, and clean." "Captain," the Admiral added, her voice softening, "no one expects you to return." "I don't care what they expect." He cut the feed. Behind him, the crew prepared in silence. In the dim armory, mechanics sealed Whispertech armor over chests and spines. Rifle stocks clicked into place. No words. Only motion. Only purpose. Vance stepped out into the corridor, boots echoing softly against alloy plates. He passed a mural half erased by heat damage, a child holding a flag in one hand and a planet in the other. His eyes lingered there for half a breath, then moved on. He entered the drop bay. His squad was waiting. "Final briefing," he said. "You all know the mission. We land on Xerxes 3, move through the jungle zone, infiltrate the hive nest, and neutralize Karvalek before the queens awaken. Minimal engagement. Maximum damage." XO Arya Chin gave a slow nod. She was pale, but focused. "Navigation charts uploaded to my Neuralink. The whisper drive's holding." "Sergeant Varden?" Riker asked. "Loaded and bred for pain," Ox said with a grin, flexing his gauntlet arm. "Let's break some bones." Dr. Moreau adjusted his glasses, out of place amidst armored giants. "Assuming we survive the atmosphere and its cognitive hazards, I may be able to link with any slave species we encounter. We're not there to liberate. Just to kill," Vance said sharply. Moreau didn't argue. "Good," Vance said. "Then prepare for launch." In his private quarters, Riker sat in the dark, staring at a thin metal chip between his fingers. Burned into it was a child's drawing, a crude sketch of a house, a smiling woman, and a small boy with spiked hair. He closed his eyes. The memory was always the same. Smoke. Screams. Bone-colored drones descending like locusts. He was 10, crouched beneath floorboards, clutching his sister's hand. His mother had been dragged from the kitchen. The sound of her spine cracking still rang like a bell behind his ribs. His sister whimpered. One of the drones turned. He let go of her hand. Crawled through the vent. Never looked back. He hadn't cried since. A knock at the door. Arya's voice. T-5. He stood, slid the chip into a hidden pocket, and sealed his helmet. The launch was silent. Dauntless disengaged from orbit and slipped into warp space like a blade through oil. No warp flare. No trace. Earth Command's final trick, Whispertech, scrambled detection algorithms by mimicking void noise. In the command bay, Riker stood at the center console, watching stars smear across the forward view. Xerxes 3 waited in the dark. He exhaled slowly. 3 minutes to drop, Arya said, hands dancing across the hollow interface. Her neural uplink flared briefly as she scanned environmental reads. Atmosphere is corrosive, low visibility, high biothreat index. Business as usual, Ox muttered, strapping into his pod. Moreau checked his stabilizers. I'm reading psi waves from the planet. Constant. Pulsing. Like a heartbeat. Vance turned to him. Is it a signal? No. It's not communication. It's hunger. The crew exchanged glances. Nobody laughed. The pods detached with a sudden jolt. Through narrow viewports, Xerxes 3 loomed below, black and green, wrapped in roiling clouds that sparked with crimson lightning. No satellites. No cities. Just jungle. Living, hostile jungle. Riker's pod burned through the upper atmosphere, heat shields glowing white-hot, then peeled away as the whisper chutes deployed. Branches the size of warships passed below. The landscape pulsed, alive, watching. He hit the ground hard, rolled, rose instantly, rifle ready. All units check in. Ox down. 2 clicks east. No contact, came the sergeant's voice. Aria here. I'm within 200 meters of your signal. Tracking now. Dr. Moreau, safe, but I'm seeing illusions. I may need assistance orienting. Riker cursed under his breath and pulled up his visor overlay. Signals blinked. Nothing clean. Something in the air was jamming short-range comms, even WhisperNet. Then he saw it. Something moved in the trees. He activated his cloaking field and slipped into the underbrush, silent as shadow. He found Arya kneeling beside a Skarzul scout corpse, freshly slain. She looked up. Not mine! They turned as Ox crashed through a thicket, dragging a second body behind him. Ambush, he said. Didn't end well for them. Riker knelt by the corpse. Bone exoskeleton. Acid sacs. Neural tentacles. All standard. But these scouts wore something new, spinal implants. Not biological. Tech upgrades, Arya whispered. They're evolving. They always were, Riker said. But they never expected us to. He stood. Regroup. Move fast. No more delays. An hour later, they reached a ridge overlooking the hive nest. It wasn't a structure. It was a living mountain, pulsing, breathing, wrapped in roots and tentacles that disappeared into the jungle. Its spires stretched like fangs into the blood-colored sky. Drones swarmed the perimeter like ants. Inside waited Karvalek, the Skarzul sovereign who had extinguished 30 human worlds. Arya leaned close. Still think we can get in? No. Riker's voice was steady. But we're going in anyway. He tapped his comm. Earth Command, this is Dauntless Team. We have visual. Commencing infiltration. A pause. Then, good hunting, Dauntless. Riker lowered his visor. Let's remind them what prey can do. The jungle wasn't made of trees. Each towering stalk was a bone-vine hybrid, pulsing with bioluminescent fluid. Leaves like blades curled inward, twitching at sound. The canopy above blocked the blood-red sky, but light bled from the forest floor, sickly greens, faint purples, and the occasional shimmer of spores drifting like dust motes. Everything here breathed. Riker Vance crouched behind a trunk-like root, weapon drawn, eyes scanning. His armor's temperature sensors pulsed with overlapping signatures. The jungle wasn't hiding life, it was life. Movement west, Arya whispered through the neural link. Riker didn't speak. Just angled his head. Sure enough, vibrations underfoot. Not footsteps. Crawling. The squad moved as one. Silent. Calculated. A knife through muscle. Sergeant Ox Varden led the point, clearing overgrowth with a heated machete. Each cut hissed as the plants screamed in brief bursts of sound too high for normal ears, but the suits translated it as static. Dr. Moreau walked in the center, his scanner cradled in both hands, eyes locked on the psi feedback loops flickering across his HUD. The forest is listening, he muttered. It reacts to fear. Then don't be afraid, Riker said. That's not how psychology works, Moreau replied quietly. Ahead, the terrain shifted, less organic, more structured. The jungle gave way to stone-like growths that rose like malformed ribcages from the soil. Each one was embedded with glowing sacs, pulsating in sync with an unseen rhythm. Arya knelt and ran a scanner across them. Egg clusters, she said. Pre-larval. Ox stepped closer, disgust crawling across his face. This many? They're breeding a damn army. No, Arya said grimly. They're breeding us. Look at the DNA markers. The scanner's readout confirmed it. Human genetic material in the cores. Repurposed. Rewritten. Grown. Vance stepped forward, voice low and sharp. They're trying to make us into them. Moreau added. More likely, Absorb our traits. Intelligence. Aggression. Adaptive memory. We're prey, yes, but too useful to waste. Riker's jaw clenched. Burn it. Arya nodded. Small charges were placed, primed, and left behind without ceremony. They pressed forward. 10 minutes later, the forest screamed. Not from the explosion, those were still a few minutes off, but from the presence of something near. The air changed. The humidity sharpened. Vance froze mid-step and motioned a fist, hold position. A shape moved through the trees ahead, quick, multi-limbed, low to the ground. One of the scouts. But it wasn't alone. A trio of Skarzul advanced in synchronized motion, crawling across the terrain with practiced ease. Their bodies were elongated, plated in living armor, and their eyes glowed faintly blue, rare among their species. Upgraded. Vance waited until they were 10 meters out. Then, now. A flashbang grenade arced through the air, detonating mid-spin. The creatures shrieked, a chorus of broken modem static, and flinched just long enough for Ox to charge. He hit the closest one like a meteor, crushing its exoskeleton beneath reinforced gauntlets. Arya opened fire, targeting joints and nerve clusters, while Miro ducked for cover and relayed psi signals to scramble the remaining scouts' commands. The third Skarzul dropped into a shadow step maneuver, blinking from one patch of darkness to another, and reappeared behind Arya. Riker fired a single round. The bullet went through its right eye and exploded mid-cranium. Silence followed. Then the charges ignited behind them. The egg field burned, green flames licking toward the canopy. "We have to move," Riker said. "This sector will swarm soon." "No argument," Arya muttered, wiping ichor off her visor. 2 clicks deeper into the hive region, the terrain changed again. No more trees. Just bone. Ridges of calcified spines marked territory now. The spires they'd seen from orbit were closer, towering above like rotten cathedral towers. The walls pulsed, as if inhaling. At the base of one pillar, the squad found something unexpected, a cage. More specifically, cells. Riker crouched by the perimeter and peered inside. There were figures, thin, translucent skinned beings. Eyes luminous. Limbs folded inward. "Tlari," Miro whispered. "Psychic cast. The Skarzul wiped them out centuries ago." "They missed some," Arya said. The moment Miro stepped near the cage, one of the Tlari opened its eyes. The others followed. They did not speak with mouths. A pulse of thought rippled outward. "You are not hive. Not prey. Not yet." Vance leveled his rifle. "Translate." Miro reached out, fingertips brushing the edge of the cage. "It's a message. Visual. I need to show you." He linked their suits. Vance's mind exploded with light. A vision. Earth. Shattered aflame. The Dauntless in ruins. Skarzul warships blotting out the sky. Then, something else. Reversal. The hive worlds burning. Human fleets rising like swarms from the void. Karvalek falling beneath a blade of fire. Then darkness. Vance pulled back. The connection severed. Miro swayed. "They've seen a possible future. Not prophecy," Arya clarified. "Potential. Do they help us?" Riker asked. Miro turned to the Tlari. "Will you fight?" "Only to break the chain. The hive must bleed." "Then show us how to get inside," Vance said. "And you walk free." A pause. Then the Tlari touched the wall of their cell. It dissolved like ash. "They weren't prisoners," Arya said quietly. "They were bait. Let's hope we're still ahead of the game," Riker muttered. The Tlari led them down a concealed tunnel, hidden beneath layers of fungal decay and flesh. Ahead, the hive nest loomed. Vance paused before entering. He keyed his comms, now briefly unjammed. "Dauntless Team to Earth Command. We've made contact with a third-party intelligence. Mission continues. Hive entry imminent." A pause. Then a cold, clear response. "Copy. Good hunting." Vance looked back once at the jungle. It looked back. Then he vanished into the dark. The hive breathed around them. The tunnel walls throbbed with wet heat, each pulse in rhythm with some unseen chord deep beneath the surface. Every step left an imprint on soft, fibrous floor flesh. The smell was unbearable, rotting sap and hot iron. It wasn't a structure. It was a living organism. Captain Riker Vance kept his rifle aimed forward, every movement measured. Behind him, Arya Chen's neural uplink blinked with data pulses, and Sergeant Ox Varden checked charge packs on his wrist cannon. Dr. Murrow walked at the rear, occasionally turning to glance at their strange allies. The Tlaari moved without sound or weight, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. They were deep now. No turning back. Above them, the hive stretched into spires. Below, it dropped into a glowing chasm of reproductive pits. Somewhere near the heart of this monstrous fortress, Karvalek waited. "We're approaching the neural chamber," Arya whispered, her voice thin through calms. "Getting heavy interference. He knows we're close." "Do it fast," Vance replied. "He only has to be right once." She moved ahead, found the interface node, a pulsating pillar of biocircuitry and alien tendrils. Carefully, she unslung her implant spike, a tool designed to hijack alien bionetworks. "Give me 30 seconds. The moment the spike connected, the walls screamed. Not metaphorically, literally. The entire hive wailed in one sustained, vibrating shriek. The lights went red. From every direction, Scar's old drones surged. "Contact rear!" Ox shouted, his arm cannon roaring to life, blasting a pair of bone-armored brutes apart. Green ichor sprayed the walls, sizzled on armor. Murrow ducked low, sending out a psychic burst that staggered the frontline attackers. "I'm almost in," Arya said, shaking violently from the feedback coursing through her neural rig. Blood trickled from her nose. Vance fired controlled bursts down the corridor, dropping 2 more drones before they closed the gap. One leapt at him. He sidestepped, and drove his blade through its mouth. It writhed, then fell limp. "Arya, now or never!" She screamed, yanked the spike free, and every drone froze in place. Then fell dead. She collapsed to one knee, gasping. "I locked down the hive's outer nodes," she rasped. "They can't call reinforcements for 5 minutes. Maybe less." "Enough," Vance said. "Time to finish this." The throne chamber was unlike the rest of the hive, clean, polished, symmetrical. The walls gleamed with bone glass. At the center stood a throne carved from fused skulls, and on it sat Karvalek. 9 feet tall. Armored in living plating. His face, if it could be called that, was a twisting arrangement of mandibles and sensory stalks. But his eyes were unmistakably sentient, and cruel. "So," Karvalek said in perfect galactic standard, his voice like stone dragged across metal, "the last of your kind brings a knife to the altar." Riker stepped forward alone. "This isn't an altar. It's a tomb." Karvalek laughed, a deep, guttural growl that echoed through the chamber. "I remember you. New Jakarta. You were the boy beneath the floor." Riker's grip tightened on his rifle. "You cried like an animal." "I haven't cried since," he said, then fired. The shot struck Karvalek dead center, but the armor held. The Sovereign moved with terrifying speed, closing the distance in seconds. His clawed hand slammed Riker aside, sending him crashing into a pillar. "Your kind adapts," Karvalek said, circling. "But you lack the instinct to dominate. You were bred to run." Vance coughed. Blood rose slowly. "We ran long enough." Arya, half conscious, pulled herself upright near the throne. "Vance, the spike, if we plant it here, it'll rupture the neural lattice. Can you do it?" She shook her head. "No time. My link's burnt." Karvalek turned toward her. "Ah. The tech witch." He advanced. Vance hurled his knife. The blade sank into Karvalek's leg, just above a joint. Not deep, but enough. The Sovereign staggered, just for a breath. It was all Arya needed. With the last of her strength, she jammed the neural spike into the throne. The room convulsed. Every light flared, then died. Carvalek roared, flailing as signals in his hive mind fractured. The scream of a dying network echoed through the bone chamber. "You fool!" he shrieked. "You collapse everything!" Vance stood, limping now, bleeding from his side. "That's the point." He pressed the detonator. Far below, charges placed in the larval chambers ignited in a synchronized burst. Shockwaves tore through the hive's spine. The walls cracked. Acidic fluid sprayed from ruptured vents. The entire mountain groaned and began to collapse. Carvalek lunged one last time, but his movements were erratic, his mind fractured. Vance caught him mid-charge and emptied his sidearm into the Sovereign's head. The final round pierced through the mandibles and exploded inside. Carvalek dropped like stone. Vance didn't have time to savor it. Arya was already gone, her body slumped near the console, eyes open but unseeing. He closed them with one hand. "Dauntless," he called into comms, voice shaking. "Target down. Mission complete. Hive is collapsing. We need evac now." "Copy," came Ox's voice, strained. "Bringing the dropship down. ETA 1 minute. Tunnels flooding." The floor beneath Riker cracked. He grabbed Arya's body, slung her over his shoulder, and ran. Outside, the air was fire. The jungle around the hive had ignited, bioluminescent trees wailing as they burned. From the sky, Dauntless' dropship descended like an avenging ghost. Ox stood in the ramp, holding out his arm. "Come on!" Riker leapt across the final gap as the ground gave way behind him. The ship rose, engines screaming. Inside, the Tlari watched in silence. "You saw the future," Vance said, laying Arya down gently. "Tell your people. Humanity isn't prey anymore." The Tlari leader lowered its head. "The galaxy will learn." Hours later, Riker stood on the Dauntless' observation deck, staring out at the stars. Behind him, the crew repaired systems, counted injuries, grieved. He activated the main terminal. A signal flared into the Galactic network. Footage of Carvalek's death. The hive collapsing. Earth's anthem rising behind a field of fire. No message. Just the image. That was enough. Across dozens of worlds it played. In Scarzal territory, rebellion sparked. On slave planets, chains broke. In the dark corners of the galaxy, whispers spread. Humanity fights back. And they do not forget.